191 AD. This is the area that flanked the forum of the high priestesses, the Vestal Virgins. Some of their statues still exist, some heads still intact, some not. Along the route here, this was their temple where something really cool happened that I'm about to explain. There's one of them right there, a Vestal Virgin. Here's the house of the Vestal Virgins where they lived. They were really an interesting but very important cult and belief of the Romans. So this was right in the forum of Rome. This life or death, if the entire empire depended on the Vestal Virgins. They were super important. Priestesses of the Roman religion. So, the Pontifex Maximus, which the pontiff sounds familiar. That's the Pope. Comes from those days. The Pontifex Maximus was the high priest of the Roman religion. He lived actually over on the other side over there. So he was involved in choosing the Vestal Virgins. And other, the emperor and some other people, but it's a belief. And they're the keepers of the sacred flame. So the sacred flame, I think, burned right here inside this temple. So one of the main jobs of the Vestal Virgins was to keep the flame going. They were often daughters of nobility, dedicated to Vesta. That is the goddess of the hearth and family. A cult that existed since 800 BC. Whoa. And existed all the way to 394 AD when it was banned because of Christianity. So that's a long life there. So this is the story of the Vestal Virgins. Remember, rich families. It was an honor to have a kid that became a Vestal Virgin. And they had a lot of sway in society, not like a lot of other women. So they were chosen by the high priest, the Pontifex Maximus, at the young age of 6 and 10 years old. They were supposed to be very beautiful, have certain attributes that made them goddess-like. A sacred vow of virginity was bestowed upon these children as they grew up into teenagers and adults, which was in the Roman world. Let's be realistic here. There wasn't a lot of virgins. They were a little freaky, doing all kinds of sexual stuff in the Roman world. It was normal for them. Both ways too. Guys, girls, all kinds of stuff. So being a virgin was, actually kind of sacred. Let's go hang out with some of the Vestal Virgins. So, it's interesting though because, I thought that was an old Roman coin that I just found. That would have been dope. It's interesting because now in Catholicism, nuns, priests are also have a sacred virginity. Can't have sex also, just like the Vestal Virgins. So it was kind of upheld most of the time. Poor Vestal Virgins kind of lived in a state of fear. They didn't want to break the vows, but it was a little bit scandalous a few times, and it was broken. So they did, they were very beautiful. Some of the most beautiful women in Rome, and rich too. So a lot of men wanted to covet them, including, I think, some emperor. So the punishment, though, was rough. If you were found as a Vestal Virgin to have sex when you were supposed to be the sacred high priestess, the punishment, because a Vestal Virgin's blood could not be spilled, the punishment was getting buried alive. That's real. So that was the punishment of a Vestal Virgin. I feel sorry and terrible for any woman that had to deal with that. But let's talk about some of their duties. On a lighter note, the duties of a Vestal Virgin was fetching water from sacred springs, preparing ritual food, caring for the temple, which was right here, behind me here, and also, most importantly, organizing the Vestas festival. So Vestas was the god of the hearth, god of the family, might be goddess. My notes aren't perfect, but all right, this one's really intact right here. Yes. Okay, so this latest one, this building was upgraded many times over the centuries, and this was their area for over 1,000 years. All right, so you know it wasn't all bad for the Vestal Virgins. They enjoyed a lot higher status than most women did in the empire, and the Republic, and the Kingdom of Rome. After their duties were done, sometimes they were freed from their status as a Vestal Virgin, and they're allowed to marry and live a normal life. This one is from the Claudian times, it says down there in Latin. So they had some political sway, and you know, they had a lot of freedoms. They didn't have a man that was bossing them around except for doing their duties, I guess the high priest was telling them. So a lot of it was kind of a high status to be a Vestal Virgin. But failure to attend to their duties, like the festivals, getting the sacred water, it's rough, but it's true. They endured beatings and all kinds of terrible stuff if they didn't do their duties. So it was kind of it was a crazy existence, but it was one of the most important parts of the Roman religion. And women, virgins, it really has a lot of parallels with modern nuns. Roman Catholicism came out of Roman paganism, remember that. Except for the bad parts. I don't think nuns are... Okay, I'm talking kind of loud. People think I'm crazy. Like always when I make my videos, but that's how it goes. I tell it like it is, man. All right, so 191 AD is when the last temple was built here to the Vestal Virgins. And I think it's an interesting story, part of the Roman world. And they had all their statues lined up here, and this was their area. Kind of scandalous, kind of rough, kind of sad, but also really cool. And the probably highest status of women in the empire, a lot of times even more than the empress herself, the Vestal Virgin, Temple of Vesta and House of Vesta. Cool. Very important tradition, lasted from around 800 BC to 390s AD, when Christianity came in and thought about that practice and was like, you know, that's kind of crazy. We're gonna come up with nuns. They're virgins too. It's like almost the same thing, except for the buried alive part. I sure hope that didn't happen. But this is in the Roman Forum, and it's really amazing to see. And a lot of the statues exist still. This is their garden. The Vestal Virgins, man, they were rich children too, chosen at 6 years old for the life of a high priestess. Sometimes they're released. Here's their statues, writings about them maybe. High status for women in the empire, which a lot of them didn't unfortunately have compared to most other women. This was their spot. This is the really cool story. This one's for the gram, only a minute. This is the house and temple area and of the Vestal Virgins. Very important aspect. Here's their statues of Roman religion importance. They were chosen at a young age, 6 years old, to be virgins for life. Sometimes they were allowed to leave the sect though, and they were priestesses. They had to take care of duties to the god Vespa to ensure the hearth and family. They had to keep this internal flame going. That was really cool. If it went out, Rome would falter and crumble. And this was their area, man. All right, well, this place, since foundations of Rome, is where the Temple of Vestas is actually. It's being worked on. It looks really cool under there. They're restoring it. That's where the temple was, where the eternal flame was. here in the Forum, one of the first Ark of Augustus. There's so much going on here. Trying to dissect it. I was in the wrong area again. Oh, sorry. That's the Temple of Vestas. Back behind it is the house of the Vestal Virgins. Pretty close. We're in the Forum. 800 BC. Sorry for making you have a crazy day. Oh, man. All right, next place, next temple.